So I go back. In this case, the judge did what was the best interest of the child. He put the child with the family. No reason not to put the child with the family. I don't know where that case is going to end up, but I remember the end of our conversation. And that was that you said you would not recommend these people adopt the child. But I also said to you, had those people not listened to you, they would have been the guardians of that child to begin with, and probably would have ended in an adoption of their own grandchild if that's where they wanted to go. The very end of the whole conversation was this: the best interest of the child should always be the goal of us. Because you're tasked with making sure of that. Sometimes it's with the family. The very end of our conversation, you did state, well, they do have good success when they go with the family. But yet, under your leadership, we are at 14% placement with family members who want to love them and don't want their children to go. I don't think all these grandparents want to be parents again. I think they love their grandchildren. It's an extension of their children, even if their children don't do right. And more, they want to help those children more because they need it. My heart breaks for families that have tried and they're willing to do financially and put the time in to raise those children. But to hear that conversation that we had and to hear more and more and more of the problems we have in DHS, I think a lot of them could be resolved if we would allow the judges to say, in the best interest of the child, instead of you fighting them all the time. You told me you would fight the grandparents getting the child. So I do have a problem, and I don't know how, senators, we're going to come back around to make changes, but I think we're going to have to, and there has to be consistency, and judges have to be able to trust DHS when they're sitting there in front of them that there's a true reason not to adopt those child out to those grandparents.
And I would agree with that, and also in the reverse, though, that there are times when we recommend that families be placed with relatives, that children be placed with relatives, and the judge denies that. And so it's on both sides, and I agree that we want what's in the best interest, and I think that that's what makes things complex, is because everyone goes in there with what they think is in the child's best interest. And sometimes we're all at differing views about where that is. You know, and it's difficult for us when we come to a meeting like this, because unfortunately only one side of the story can be told and only one side of the facts can be told, and so that makes it very difficult. You know, I know that the 14% that are being placed with relatives, actually we have gone in and we have looked at that, and actually you're going to be getting some new numbers that show that 22% of our children are placed with relatives. So as we looked at those foster homes that had previously, those families that had originally become foster parents, and we went in and made sure that everybody had those classified correctly so that they weren't just noted as a regular foster home, that they were put as a provisional or a relative foster home. And so there will be some new data that comes out that shows that 22.2% of our children are placed with relatives.
Well, I think that for my concern is that when you know that you hear judges say best interest of the children and they're trying to do that, and they've got DHS working against them, and they're sitting there, can't figure out a reason really not to put that child there. And thank God some of those judges just say, you're wrong, we're putting the children in the parents' family, put them with their family. So although I do commend where DHS does things correctly, I think you've got a lot of work to do to make sure that families can take care of their children when they're willing to go all out to take care of them. And we do have a problem in this area. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.